It's Saturday night, it's 20 past 6, and it's hockey night in the hangar as the TSI World Berkshire Bees welcome the Milton Keynes Lightning to town for their second visit in as many as 4 weeks. This time there are league and cup points on the line, and the Bees looking to get a first win of the season, while the Lightning look to keep up the charge nearer the top end of the table. I'm joined this week as my usual co-commentator, Chris Spiel. Chris, it's your first trip here this year, and you've got a good game for it tonight.
Yeah, I've got a really good game for it. We've got absolutely stacked, as always, every season, stacked Lightning roster going up against a Bees roster that tonight, it looks like it's a bit of an uphill challenge for them.
Yeah, the Bees are a bit short this evening. The Lightning at, well, full strength almost for them. Two very different rosters in terms of how the way they've been built this year. MK all about offense. The Bees very much a case of being more than the sum of its parts. Yeah,
I mean, the thing is, I think I said to you before we went on the air, the Bees, they ran Lightning very, very close in a preseason game. And I know people say preseason doesn't count, it doesn't matter. It's that period when everybody's just getting back into things. But they still ran that very, very, very well. But sorry, I'm just adjusting my microphone.
Yep.
This well-built Lightning roster very, very close.
As we look at the early season table, I know this table doesn't mean anything until Christmas, as we always get told by players and the like. It does give you a good idea of where the early pace setters are. The Lightning currently sitting in fourth at the moment. They've played one game less than the Hull Seahawks, Leeds Knights and the Swindon Wildcats. The Lightning's one loss obviously coming up in Leeds, where they were beaten heavily. They did bounce back with a win last Saturday night over the Sheffield Steel Dogs in the shootout thanks to a Ross Venus goal. The Bees, they've only got the 1 point on the year. That came from their own shootout loss in Peterborough last Saturday, and they lost in somewhat controversial fashion on Sunday against the Swindon Wildcats, but less said about that the better. Obviously, Chris, we're very early in the season. This is weekend 3 of the year. This table, as I say, means absolutely nothing, but which teams obviously stood out the most for you so far?
I mean, to employ a bit of a cliche, it's a marathon, not a sprint, and obviously we're only in the opening what, 100 or so meters, I'd say, of the marathon. I mean, obviously, Hull Seahawks are standing out to me at the moment at the top end of the table. 3 and 1 at the moment. I can't see the overtime losses because of the strap across the screen.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's all right. But I mean, the Bees, I think they should feel. I mean, it's one of those things where when the luck's going against you, that's what happens. And obviously, last weekend that rather controversial loss to the Wildcats, that could have been a point. That could have been another point. And it's about these kind of games are going to be the character games where you have to get the roster to deep and try and find some way to beat those insurmountable odds. I mean, I have seen games in my time in British hockey where I mean, my favourite one I always go back to is Kevin Reiter versus the Coventry Blaze, where Kevin Reiter and a 10-man Basingstoke Bison roster somehow overturned. I mean, this was back in 2008, I will point out, but overturned the very, very strong league challenging Coventry Blaze 4-1 in their own barn, where Reiter soaked up, I think it was 50 shots in one game. If Wright can have a good because he's looked like he's getting a little bit more dialed in. He had a bit of an iffy start with a bit of a comedic
in the pre-season game against the Lightning.
Yes, against the Lightning. So he had a bit of a comedic opening, but he seems to be getting a bit more dialed in now. He's getting settled here to the way British hockey works. If he can put in that kind of a performance for them tonight, and the offense can find a way to score more than 2 or 3, because they found a way to score goals. They've scored on average about 3 goals a game. Could do it.
He says 3. He means 2, everyone.
2, sorry. Maths was not my strong point.
No, that's why I'm here. Yeah. Your teams for this evening. Firstly, the home side, the TSI World Berkshire Bees. A few names missing tonight. They line up as 2, Adam Rossbottom, 9, Vanya Antonov, 12, Hallam Wilson, 13, Marcus Mitchell, 15, Ty Cathcart, 19, Will Stead, 21, Marcel Balaz, 23, Dominic Gamai, 24, Dan Rose, 27, Josh Smith, 71, Josh Kelly, 74, Liam Morris, 91, Ollie Hemmings-Mayer, 94, Stuart Mogg, netminders 36, Brett Shepherd, 42, Max Wright, non-icing 5, Ollie Nags, 16, Adam Erskine, 75, Rem Cathcart, 38, Ian Germania-Torado, and 18, Preston Toombs. Before them, we believe it is two-way duty. The Streatham players are in Streatham, the same players with Solent, and the other two we simply don't know from up here at the moment. But as Chris says, the Berkshire Bees, Max Wright has been phenomenal these first 2 weekends. They need to find a way of giving him some goal support tonight. Yeah,
fire support for your netminder is always key. Your netminder can only win you games if you find a way to score for him. He can't score the goals for you unless the opposition decide to go with the really bold play of playing the game with 6 skaters from the beginning.
And our visitors this evening, the Milton Keynes Lightning, as I say, they're at nearly full strength, or as full strength as they get. They line up as follows: 4, Archie Salisbury; 5, Jordan Spadafor; 10, Thomas Rutgers; 11, Callum Field; 14, Dylan Lawrence; 15, James Griffin; 16, Max Stewart; 24, Carter Hamill; 25, Ed Naggs; 28, Tim Wallace; 33, Malik Martelli; 59, Ross Venus; 71, Harry Gulliver; 77, Martin Susters; 89, Rio Grinnell Park; 93, Ben Brown; 95, Jordan Cowney; 96, Ben Solder; netminders 1, Jordan Headley; 31, Will Curlin. The Lightning only missing third choice netminder Ollie Booth, and 17, Corey McEwen. And Chris, a lot will be made of the Lightning's first weekend loss against Leeds. They bounced back and got the shootout win last weekend. A Sunday off, which obviously happens for most teams in this league, but a first opportunity to bounce back, and that starts in a rink that the fans will notoriously say for them, they do not like playing here.
Well, they are a team built for a big ice game. I was looking at their highlight packs this last couple of weeks. They are a team that they prefer to shoot from those wider, higher areas in the offensive zone. They don't like to get in close. And that is exactly the kind of play you're going to have to do in this rink. They're going to have to adapt to that if they're going to do it. They have a lot of players that they rely a lot on those wrist shots from further out. They don't, so far from what I've seen in those goals that they've scored so far this season, they're not big on the dirty goals, getting in close in front, which you have to do in these kind of rings.
And a lot has been made online from Lightning fans about the defensive side of it and being maybe a little too passive. Obviously, Ross Green and Lewis Christie have gone. People are expecting to take more of a role, and Archie Salisbury now stepping up full-time into a top 6 role. The defence feels like it needs time to gel. Once it's clicked, it's going to be fine. And frankly, I'm going to be honest here from a Bees point of view, I really hope it's not tonight, but I've got a feeling it might be.
Obviously, yes. The Bees fans will obviously be hoping that defence doesn't gel very well tonight. But that's exactly what you need. You have to kind of give your defensive units time to gel, because you've got to let new players figure out where, when you shuffle them the way they've had to this year, you have to let players figure out what the other player's doing. They've also got a new netminder in there in Curlin, and they have to, you have to let the defence figure out what Curlin's doing as well, because I think Curlin has started the majority of their game so far. So it's easier. Players will have more confidence in a netminder that they've played in front of regularly, like if they had started Headley in those games. Sorry?
No, sorry, you go ahead.
Yeah. If they'd started Headley in those games, it might have turned out a little bit differently, because the majority of the defence knows how Headley likes to play the puck. He likes to play in the net. They're not very familiar with Curlin from the perspective of playing in front of him as opposed to against him.
So we have the Bees come away from Max Wright. Your officials for this evening, referees in the Water Wings of Power are Mr. Will Hewitt and Mr. William Jarlsmark. Linesman Mr. Marius Koval and Mr. Pavel Olchak on the lines. Let's hope they have a quiet night tonight for everyone. As for the third time in the hangar, which thankfully has filled out a little bit in the last 10 minutes, as Max Wright brings them out onto the ice. Me and Chris will be back with you in about 2 minutes' time following the national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you can, please stand, removing hats and caps. Now playing the national anthem.
As we get ready for your Saturday night main event of the evening, your starting netminder this evening, firstly for the TSI World Berkshire Bees, Max Wright gets the start in net again. He has 4 starts of the season so far. He is 0-3-1, a .908 save percentage and a 3.47 goals against average. picking up obviously the overtime loss in Peterborough on Saturday night, stopping 41 of 44, and picking up the loss here on Sunday night, where he stopped 35 of 38. At the other end for the Milton Keynes Lightning, it's the third start of the year for Will Curlin. He is 2-0-0 on the season so far, an .893 save percentage, a 3.84 goals against average, and picked up the shootout win last Saturday night at home to the Sheffield Steel Dogs. It takes him to 37 National League wins in 83 starts. Chris, Will Curlin is a netminder who has won in this ring for both the Lightning and the Pitbulls in his time, and knows it well. Does it change the game plan for the Bees in any way, knowing that it's Curlin at the other end and not Headley?
It will to a degree, but I mean, obviously, with the fact that Lightning have been Sorry,
producer Nick is producing on the as he goes in. He wants you to put the microphone nearer to your mouth.
There we go. Sorry.
Producer Nick is a perfectionist, everyone, if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, sorry. As I was saying, Curlin having started in the majority of the games, Don will have studied those tapes and will have been planning for that. It probably would have caught them more off guard if Headley would have been starting, in my opinion. But you know, a netminder knowing where the bounces are in the rink, it's especially off the boards, it's going to affect the way you play those pucks into the zone.
As we get underway at the second time of asking, as referee Will Hewitt drops the puck, the Lightning win the opening draw, dumped in right out of his net to play it. Let's not talk about his moment in the pre-season game here. Held up down low, Rossbottom trying to get the puck away from Wallace, finds Goodbye. Over to Will Stead on this change top line, back to Goodbye. Goodbye, first shot blocked, tries to spin around and find it to Will Stead. Off his skate back to Goodbye. Plays himself into a bit of trouble. Stead in front, Rossbottom at the side of the net as they all try to shovel it in short side on Curlin. Lightning turn it over. From behind their own net. Cross-ice pass picked off by Balaz. At least breaks the play up. Lightning is still able to dump it in to the B zone and get the change. Antonov tries to get away from Martelli. Coming together with the former Streatham Redhawks there. Happy Chris noises. Antonov bearing down on Spadafor.
They'll be happier if he nets one.
You can set up for both of them tonight. Hemmings Mare. Pass down low. Spadafor first to the loose puck. Only fires it at Antonov. Back to Mitchell at the blue line. Balaz. Down to Hemmings Mare. Held by Martelli. Antonov is bulldozed to the floor by Spadafor. Morris, shot from the blue line, takes a deflection off the skater sisters. Almost wrong foot's Curlin.
This is going to be the key for the Bees at the moment, try with that shorter bench, is to keep these changes rolling, keep that pressure in the offensive zone.
Sisters up the right-hand side. Morris will try and play the body. If anything, it just separates him from the puck. Smith, first to it. Rose leaves it for Morris as they break at speed. Morris up the left-hand wall. Doesn't take the puck with him, can't get around Ed Nags. Fired back into the zone, blocked. And Lightning take control of the puck. Cross-ice pass, finds the open man. Good diving block there by Marcus Mitchell to break up the pass from Venus to Nags. The Bees will try and come away with Rose. Wilson chips on ahead. Nags first the loose puck. Dan Rose with a whiff.
Really good use of the body here on this shift by this particular line, making those sacrifices, putting the body in, putting the body on the line to break up the play, stop the Lightning from progressing.
Stewart, long stretch pass to Cowney. Icing waved off. Cowney gets there first. Pinned to the boards by Cathcart. Tries to go back to the blue line. Pass broken up by Wilson. Can't quite clear the zone. Good stick work to get away from Wilson. Down low to Cowney. Back round. Solder. He punches down low. Pinned by Rose in the corner. Down low to Hamill, misses him, goes through to Cowney. Hamill from the goal line. Tries to break it back out to a rushing Max Stewart, but Josh Smith intercepts that pass. Bees will clear and get a change. Griffin tries to go to Hamill, but that's broken up by Rossbottom. Goodbye the other way. Up the left-hand side, tries to get around field. Goodbye is hammered in the corner by James Griffin. Morris. Chipped ahead of Rossbottom. Settles it down as the Bees just reset for a second. Stead gets the centre ice line, dumps it in, gives chase himself. Griffin will get there first. Turned over again, not the cleanest passing in the world defensively by the Lightning so far as that's through the front of the goal, and Will Curlin has to stretch out and keep that one from going in. Hold it behind Curlin's net. Bees come away with it. Back to Will Stead, who's got a bit of space. Will Stead fires, and that one's wide. Goodbye. Able to keep that one in the zone. Bees will change anyway. Lightning ahead. Kelly able to break up that move by Ben Brown. Balaz with the young Scotsman on him. Dumps it off the Hemmings Mayer. Flips it towards goal. Will Curlin will hold on. Finally we'll get a break. 4.5 minutes gone in the first.
Been a back and forth. Early phase, both sides just doing that early phase, figuring things out. But Curlin's really been stretched here so far by the Bees in the early phases.
The Lightning doing a job of just sort of getting in their own way at the moment. The passing, especially at the defensive end, not quite to tape.
Well, I mean that chance for Stead there. If that puck hadn't just been bobbling a little, I think it didn't really settle as well on the stick as he'd liked. That might have been a good solid one-timer, and that might have been 1-0.
Gulliver's rush blocked by Mong as he gets to the face-off dots. Antonov the other way. Friendly bounce almost falls back to Antonov, who tries to shovel it in short side. Puck still knocked loose. We'll have a few pushing, shoving matches going on by the side of the net. Vanya Antonov went straight at Malik Martelli. Got the friendly bounce off the advertising hoardings. Indoor golf available now. Not a fan if you're an MK Lightning player at the moment.
Interesting to see Malik and Vanya going at it.
Face-off will be to the left of Curlin. Lightning win the draw. Rutkiss tips that one ahead. Icing call, but right out of his net to play it. Round to Hemmings Mayer. Flips it off the boards. Misses Martelli. Spadafor is back there. Balaz bearing down on him. Spadafor does well to hold off the Slovak. Tries to appeal for a hooking call there, but not given. Oh no, it is given. Very late, but it is called. Like I said, it looked like it was going to be called a hook, and it eventually is, as Marcel Balaz heads to the box. The Lightning go on the power play. 5:17 time of the penalty.
The Lightning, I think, need to work on their speed here at the moment, because they're trying to use it, but they seem to be realising and having to stop up because they're running out of that space, as we talked about how tight this rink is going to be against the kind of game that they like to play.
Lightning on the power play. They are 3 for 13 in the early season, 23.08 success rate. The Bees have given up 2 power play goals, 85.71 success rate on 14 attempts. Lightning down low, good puck movement there, but the pass just bounces over the stick of Lawrence and out the zone. Wallace is back there. Lightning again towards the front of the net, attempted tip play there by Dylan Lawrence, misses his stick. Lawrence drops it off for Susters. Back to Wallace. Lawrence given the chance down low, and Dylan Lawrence between the hash marks turns and fires through a crowd, and the Lightning lead 5:52 time of the goal.
And that was a tic-tac-toe play. Just get it to Lawrence in the middle, and he just has to drill it down the centre through Wright's 5-hole.
Through the sea of humanity, as always. It's a lovely finish once again by the Canadian. His first goal of the season.
Good screen there in front. I think that was by Susters. Oh, no, it's Harry Gulliver. Sorry, I saw a 7 and a 1.
Lightning win the draw. Shot straight off the draw by Max Stewart.
Me and numbers are not going to be friends this evening.
I don't think so. Fonts are ridiculous. Bees chip it on ahead.
Well, at least it's not white on gold lettering.
Yeah. Cheers, Hull. Bees with it. Antonov down low. Spins away from the check. Still with it. Back up to the blue line. Mog down low again. Tries to find Hemmings Mayer. Lawrence from Venus and Wallace. The Lightning first goal. Battles.
But that first goal for the Lightning, typical of what I described, what they like to do. They like to get those long-range wrist shots and snap shots, and they got one right there from the hash.
And that one of the more obvious icing calls we'll see all evening. Archie Salisbury sails that one the length of the ice. 6:43 to go, and the Bees, it's important for them now not to let their heads drop. The systems have worked all through this year, but you do obviously have to question, they've only scored 2 goals in this wrinkled season so far, and now they need to double that to get the win here.
Well, that said, they have had the Lightning a little bit pinned to begin with during this first period. It's only really that power play that's really given them a proper opportunity to get on the board so far.
Cathcart keeps that one in, played down low, Solder first to it. Battle behind the boards. Rose able to bring it out. Goes himself, that fired up and over off the stick in front. Lightning try and clear and are able to. One man back in yellow is Ty Cathcart. Fired up the boards. Morris will go again himself. Wilson tips it ahead and he's able to get a change in. Nags. Chipped on ahead once more. Kelly first to it, ahead of Grinnell Park. Stead will try and find Ross Bottom, but that one's well read by Ben Solder. Brown. Dump and chase play here. First to it is Josh Kelly. Morris finds Stead. One man to beat. A little stop from James Griffin, who finishes his hit well. Dump down low, no one there in yellow. Solder. As Will Stead finishes his check. Kelly, finally the first one to get it under control in neutralise. He goes back to Mogg. He will lead the rush up ice. Over to Kelly. Well, Balaz even. Dumped in and immediately iced, so that was well good for me. 8:19 gone here in the first. I thought it was going to be icy. It looks like we're going to stay neutral ice.
As Michael Ballas has collides with one of our referees.
Lightning win the draw. Martelli. It's the return pass, chipped ahead. Mogg with the hit on Rutgers, right out of his net to play it once again. Gets it past Wallace. Finds Hemingway, who does just enough to clear the zone before Rutgers can bear down on him.
Yeah, Lightning have switched up tactics here now. They're not trying to speed skate the puck carrier in. They've switched to this dump and chase manoeuvre where they're using their speed to then chase it in and hopefully win the puck battle in the corner.
Rutgers fired across the paint. Martelli. It's bundled down. Rutgers in the corner. Friendly bounce back to Rutgers. Finds Gulliver. Rutgers back to Martelli. Gulliver gets a stick taken out of his hands by Liam Morris. Wallace. Able to hold off 2 Bs. Finds Rutgers. That pass goes through everyone and falls nicely to Martelli. Wheels back to the blue line. Shot through traffic. Tipped by Wallace. Takes it away from the goal. Wilson first man to it. And icing called on that one. And he's going to be called this time.
Realistically, that was the only option Hallam Wilson had in that scenario. You can't try and look for the outlet to try and get the line change on. You've just got to get it cleared, even if it does mean you're stuck out there for another shift.
Face off one by the Lightning again. Venus. Goes back to Sisters. That one saved by Wright. Sisters spins away from a check, tries to find Venus, held up against the Zamboni doors below us. Venus bundled down by Balaz. I thought potentially you could have seen a trip there, but the Bees will break the other way. Balaz tries to slide it across, bundled down. The fans want a penalty, as do the Bees bench. Nothing called. Lightning break the other way. Chance in front, backdoor chance for Ed Nags. Thankfully misses his stick off the pass of Martin Sisters. Bees the other way. Morris Finds Rossbottom. Rossbottom loses the handle on it thanks to Lawrence. Wilstead plays the hit and comes off worse. Lightning the other way. Lovely move to the front of the net. Brilliant poke check by Stuart Mogg to take away from Ross Venus, and there's a penalty called.
Ross Venus wants a penalty shot, but it's going to be hooking.
It's a hook call on Dom Gabai. That must have been behind it because I was about to say, if that was on Stuart Mogg, that was very harsh.
Yes.
10:36, time of the penalty call. Dom Gabai heads to the box.
I mean, that looked like a perfectly well executed poke check by Stuart Mogg.
Let's go live to producer Nick. That's just after it. It must be the Gabai coming in from behind, because that was called for Mogg. That was
well, if you tune into TSI World Bees TV later this week, I'm sure it will be in the highlights.
Annika will find it and we'll put it in the highlights. Face off to right, and the Lightning win the draw. Brown fires right, does not glove that well as it bursts over the top of it. Stewart.
The commentators team on the NIHL 2000 say that had some muster on it.
Martelli. Fired back across. Martelli again. Shot through traffic, kicked side by right. Rebound falls nicely in front. Glove save right. Snapped on goal by, I can't see who it is because the number's not there. It is Jordan Cowney, I thought it was. And Wright snatches that one out of the sky. A few bits of pushing and shoving there.
They had just a wall of yellow in the net there, though, because as well as Wright, we had Mogg in the net acting
Nick
as a
thinks he's
secondary
found it.
netminder.
Oh, there's Wilstead falling over. Here we go. Did Dom Gabai make it? No, we were just watching Wilstead falling over. Face off, held up. Bees bring it away. Mogg will try and bring it around the boards. Martelli, good job keeping that one in. Stewart. Back to Brown at the blue line. That attempted pass blocked by Balaz. Back to Stewart. Fired down low. Kelly first to it, just turns and fires up ice. Balaz escaped to the bench. 50 seconds killed on the penalty.
These PK really struggled with the way that the Lightning were moving that puck around on it. They really got stretched out of position, which is how you ended up with Mogg standing in the net.
Martelli over to Gulliver. Mitchell tries to escort him away from danger. Instead, it goes to the front of the net. Puck is loose. Wright finds it hidden under the body of Stuart Mogg. And he'll hold on as Dylan Lawrence tries to shovel a second one home.
That looked almost sweet. I think we may see it here now.
Have we found it? Was there a hook here for Dom Gabai? A little one.
Yeah, he had a nibble. I think he had a nibble there with the stick.
Face off once again. This time the Lightning come away with it. Venus back up to the blue line. Wallace down low. Susters. Susters backdoor chance off the stick of Wright. Bouncing puck again. Morris first to it and clears. Bees just they're getting easily pulled out of position here on this on PK.
They are getting very, very bent. I mean, bent out of shape realistically on this PK. Wright seems to at the moment be the difference on this particular PK at the moment.
Lightning still with it. Gulliver able to get to the front of the net. Backdoor chance of Susters. He fans on that one. Rossbottom tries to get there ahead of him. Wilstead able to knock it over the blue line and out. And that one offside of Susters turns the other way. Gulliver still inside. So 5 seconds left on the Gabai minor. Neutral ice face off. And for the most part, the Bees' job done. He says,
Curse of the commentator.
Lightning win the draw once more. Nags dumps it in, and that will kill the rest of the minor. They've got to be wary as the man comes out of the box. Grinnell Park finishes his hit on Mogg. Pushing
Mogg's not happy with that. Bit of shoving in the corner here with him and
Grinnell Park's still going at it because he's lost a glove. And it's still going at it. Gabai down low. Mogg has brought his man down, and that should be a penalty, and it is. The Bees bench is losing it, but there is nothing wrong with that.
I mean, that's one of the things Grinnell Park does so well. He agitates, he winds players up, and he's taken.
They've both gone to the box. I genuinely thought that should have just been Mogg. Grinnell Park going to the box as well is interesting.
I mean, I think that's a fair trade, though. I think, you know, Grinnell Park in exchange for losing Stuart Mogg. You know, if I'm the coach, I'm taking that trade every day.
12:59 time of the penalties. We will let you know what it was. I imagine. I mean, you have to say 2 for hooking, maybe for Mogg, but what Grinnell Park gets.
2 for cross-checking, maybe, because there was a bit of a cross-checking.
But the arm went up for the hook, not the cross-check, and then Grinnell Park didn't do anything after the penalty was called. So
it depends whether both officials saw something. And one's called one player and one's called the other. We do have a two-man system.
Find out soon.
I always wonder what's going on in these conversations.
Well, the Bees fans are letting their views of the refereeing already known. Here we go. There you go, Chris called it, 2 for cross-checking. Good, never going to hear the end of this the rest of the night.
Well, that I was right.
Yeah. 2 for tripping.
As Spider-Man famously once said, everyone gets 1.
Stuart Mogg called for tripping someone around his waist. Lightning win the draw. He will stay 5 on 5 as they sit there 2 minutes. Venus tries to find Sisters. He again fans on the shot. There's not going to be many more chances that fall Martin Sisters' way, and right on cue. Aha, I'm right. Sisters scores 13-13, and he gets his 3rd of the year. The Lightning lead 2-0.
Sisters loses his man at the back post. Lightning just moved the puck around at speed. It bounces out in front, and Sisters is there to just apply the finish. And it's another one through Wright's 5-hole as well.
Yeah, just another defensive zone breakdown there, creating a little pocket of space, and a player like Martin Sisters is going to finish that with ease.
I mean, if I am Dom Goodbye, one of the things I'm going to be covering in the team talk at the break is the shape. Is that we're being drawn too easily out of the shape when we're not sticking to our positional play.
Drop past to Martelli. He makes his way down to the goal line, spins away from Kelly and Rossbottom, back high. Shot through traffic, tried to find a wide open Jordan County at the back door. Sisters from Venus and Lawrence, the Lightning's 2nd goal. Hamill tries to play the puck through Dom Goodbye. It's a bold strategy. Stewart collects the bouncing puck. Around the boards it goes to County. County back the other way. Stewart. Back high to Martelli. Fired around the Spatterford. That takes a deflection wider than net. County. Dropped off for Stewart. Back to County. The NIHL man back in Milton Keynes for yet another year. County, lovely move to get away from Goodbye. Tries to drop it off to Stewart. The Bees able to break that play up. Wilstead gets easily dispossessed by Martelli there, who just takes the puck away. Morris from behind his own net. 5.5 minutes to go in the first.
Just letting the changes get on. And now he's going to go for the breakout play.
Mitchell up the boards. That will be icing.
Calls from the Bees bench there, I think, for a cross-check.
I think it's more a case of Wilson wasn't given the chance to play the puck. He was interfered with, but the icing call stands. Something the Bees were guilty of last week a lot as well, of trying to make the breakout play and just icing it the entire way and coming back. So face off to the left of right. Rose wins the draw. Mitchell will go behind goal to Smith. Willis able to make the hit, takes it away. Smith jumps on the loose puck, fires it cross ice. Wilson and Nags give chase. Wilson able to get position on the play. Lightning come away with the puck. Bouncing puck brought into the zone by Wallace. Gulliver can't get on the end of it. Smith the other way. Smith fires that one in. Blocked aside by Curlin. Rutkiss Takes the hit, but chips it up ice. Gulliver can't get there ahead of Kelly. Antonov can't get through the Lightning defence. Field collects the loose puck as Lightning change. Stewart takes the hit from Morris. Chipped ahead 2-on-2. Offside. That feels generous to me. As Field
very delayed offside. That's all.
Field deemed to have jumped the gun as both Morgan and Grinnell Park return to the ice. 4:10 to go.
Very much a reprieve there, though, for the Bees' defence, because 2-on-1, that looked like we might be looking at a third in that scenario.
Lightning with the draw, it's chipped ahead. Mog finds Kelly, chipped up ice. Hemmingsmere helps it on its way. Foot race to the puck, easily won by Solder. That will be icing as his pass can't find Callum Field on that one. We'll go all the way back.
Bees do need to find a way at the moment with this break-in play that they've got, where they bounce it off the half boards from halfway up on the way through. They need to make sure that their players are getting into that corner battle ahead of or at the same time as the Lightning player, and they're really struggling with that at the moment.
Shot from Kelly takes a bounce off of the leg of Grinnell Park and into the Lightning bench. Ballas with a chance just before that, off the side of the net. But the Lightning change. In fact, both teams will go for a change. Face off to the right of Curlin, who, after the first 5 minutes, hasn't really had a lot to do. Falls back to Kelly. Shot from no man's land, blocked in front. Falls to Rossbottom. Tries to go back through traffic, scramble in front, and as I say that, Curlin actually has to make a save off the onrushing Bees forward.
I think it goes back to what we were saying in the pre-game though about will the Lightning adapt to this kind of rink. They don't, as their fans say, they don't really like to play here. They don't play very well here, but I think they've found a way to adapt the game plan so far now. Well,
they're breaking the other way now. Malik Martelli shovels it off to the left-hand side. Chance of a tight angle across right. Luckily bounces through the paint and out the other side. Instead chips it past Spatterfall. Lawrence is there to get there ahead of Goodbye. Lawrence plays himself into trouble. Stead throws himself at it. And Bees fans want a penalty and there's nothing there. Lightning the other way once again. Susters spins away from Cathcart. Lawrence back to Martelli at the blue line. Martelli pinching down, finds Lawrence again. Susters round the boards, foot race for it. Mog gets there first, chips it on ahead. Stead can't get away from Spatterfall. Smith able to separate him, and the Bees will get a chance with Cathcart. At the right hand side to Goodbye, tries to find Smith. Puck bounces back to Goodbye. Martelli takes it away from the Bees player coach and is just given the ability to play it out from the corner. Lightning on the rush. Mitchell takes the body on Cowney, but he still bounces back to Cowney. Here's no look pass, finds no one. Stewart in front, chance. Puck still loose. Max right, no man's land, and it's another penalty called on the Bees. Tripping.
I think it's going to be Mitchell.
I don't even think. I think
Wilson.
No one really knows who's being called here.
I think it's a Lightning player.
Everyone looks confused. Even the linesmen don't know who's supposed to be going here. 17:48 is the time of penalty, and it's Liam Morris. Love to let you know what we thought of that one, but
something that, I mean, if anything, I thought it would have been Mitchell for that rather low hit, but
Morris 2 for tripping at 17:48. And Lightning back on the power play for the third time tonight. Lightning with it, back at the blue line. Fired round the boards. Cowney, back to Martelli, across the brown, his shot sticked aside by Wright. Antonov gets to the puck first, helps on its way. Ballas is the one man there, can't get past Martelli. Does a brilliant job of preventing that short-handed breakout.
That's brilliant body placement by Malik Martelli there. He sees that Ballas is going for that changeover and he blocks it.
Lightning in at speed again. Here's a chance in front, and that's brilliant backhand finish by Max Stewart. And the Lightning score their third in the opening period, 18-26. And Max Stewart gets his first goal of the season.
Martelli stops it at the other end. Max Stewart is able to just skate it in, cut across, roof it over the top of right, and it's 3-0 to the Lightning.
It's a lovely finish from Max Stewart. Quite catch on the replay.
I think,
but he steps in
that's one of those
roofs
goals.
it.
That's one of those goals that the word highlight reel was invented for.
Yes. If only there was a top 5 goals of the week compilation nowadays. Oh wait, contender possibly.
Yep.
Lightning chip it on ahead. Callum Field. That's almost at us. Into the corner it goes. Brown drops it off for Grinnell Park. Brown from no man's land. That one kicked aside by Wright. Instead gets there first, kept into the blue line by Nags. Morris. Over to Kelly. Rossbottom trying to get out of the zone. Pinned in at the moment, the Bees. Final minute of the first period. Field. Spins away from Morris, fires that shot on goal into the glove of Wright, and he'll hold on with 53 seconds to go in the first. Gives you enough time to have a quick look. Oh, Nick might have got the replay here of the goal. Or is this the trip?
I think there.
That's the second, well also, that's not Liam Morris, again,
yep.
And that's the second trip around the waist so far this evening.
Yep.
I'm not debating it, there's definitely a penalty. Later score as well, Swindon Wildcats 0, Leeds Knights 0 in the first period. The puck falls nicely in Gulliver.
We're not debating the penalty, we're debating who committed the penalty.
Let's just call someone who was nowhere near it again, shall we? Gulliver. Finds a little bit of space. Just Hemmings-May able to get that away from Wallace.
Just pick a player in yellow and give it to them.
The Bees are losing their heads here at the moment with non-calls, what they perceive as non-calls. Rutgers fires the shot on goal, and Wright will hold on. 25 seconds ago, there is a lot of talking coming from the Bees bench towards the officials.
And this is something that needs to kind of be wound down a little bit.
Here is that Lightning third goal. Bang. Lovely.
Lovely. You don't want to get into a headspace where you think it's you versus the Lightning versus the officials, because that's going to affect your every action out there.
Lightning win the draw. Back to Venus. Chance for a fourth before the period break. Falls back to Spatafor. His shot blocked in front by Gabai. Foot race to it. Stead gets it away from Susters. Breaks up the left-hand side. He's being escorted away from danger by Spatafor. Spins away from him. Gabai shot blocked in front. Falls back nicely to Gabai. The Lightning, no, are the Bees hanging on another penalty? Is this another one?
I think so.
It
is.
We
stopped when the Bees player stopped.
A slashing call here at 19:59 on the Bees. Well, and Ashley Tate is off the bench here and is stood between the doors, losing his mind. As Adam Rossbottom heads to the box. 2 minutes for slashing is called.
This could be Ashley Tate's Jim Fairplay moment here. Is everything nailed down in that bench?
You'd like to hope so. So 2 for slashing on Adam Rossbottom at 19:59. Ashley Tate is remonstrating with the officials, as you can see on the stream here. You'd think you'd just be better off just dropping the puck, playing out the 0.7 left, and just having this conversation then. But instead, we're going to have it now.
Well, his eye is up at the moment. He's I mean, when you're angry like he probably is right now, you're not going to be thinking straight. You're not going to be thinking.
No.
You know, he's just thinking right now, you've put another penalty on my team that I don't feel is right. You, in my opinion, have missed a series of calls that should have given us power play opportunities. Why is it that every penalty so far this period, bar one,
and maybe a little gamesmanship of just not letting them set up a play for these last 0.7 seconds as well.
Yeah.
So, chance off the draw. The Lightning very much weighing up for it, and Bees win the draw thanks to Marcel Balaz, and that will do it for the first period. A first period that obviously we must say, after the first 5 minutes, where the Bees had a lot of pressure through a lot of heavy checks, the Lightning have completely dominated.
And just beneath us, just as things wrapped up, Cathcart and Gulliver got a little tied up and almost beheaded our referee, Mr. Hewitt.
Yes, the Lightning dominant in that first period with 2 power play goals and various other chances. A lovely finish from Max Stewart as Producer Nick seems to think he has found the slash in front. Your guess is as good as mine on this.
Is it when he adjusts his stick on the chain?
Who knows? Who knows on that one?
Bring it up and then bring it down. I don't know whether the only person he could be slashing is Curlin, and Curlin doesn't react.
But yes, other than that, we've had 3 very nice goals from the Lightning, Susters and Stewart's particularly, and we'll be back with the second period in about 15 minutes' time. It's Bees 0, Lightning 3. Welcome back to the hangar for period number 2 here of tonight's game. Elsewhere around the league, not much going on in the ways of goals. It's the Swindon Wildcats 0, the Leeds Knights 0. It is the Bristol Pitbulls 1, the Romford Raiders 1, Solway Sharks 0, Telford Tigers 0, and the Sheffield Steeldogs 1, Peterborough Phantoms 1. And of course, most of the goals have been here, where it's the Berkshire Bees 0, Milton Keynes Lightning 3. Well, as we're going to say, the stats for the first period, there were 16 on Max Wright in the Bees net, 7 on Will Curlin in the Lightning net, with probably about 5 or 6 of those in the first 5 minutes. Goals from Dylan Lawrence, Martin Sisters and Max Stewart for the Lightning, giving them a deserved lead as the Bees get into a lot of penalty trouble.
Yeah, a lot of penalty trouble. They obviously felt rather aggrieved by it as well, with 4 penalties called against them and only 1 call against the Lightning, which was a coincidental.
Well, you say about penalties being called on them. Producer Nick has gone back and found the replay of the slash. Over to you, Producer Nick. Ross Bottom in front of the net there, and there it is. He's tried to play it wrong, and yep. So we had the wrong replay the first time round, and now we've got the second replay.
Stick comes out.
It is really obvious. Hey, we didn't comment the first time round because we weren't sure what happened. So, the Lightning with another 2-minute man advantage.
It was so far away.
That's our excuse, and we're sticking to it.
Yep. It was so far away, and there were several bodies between us and the event.
Any complaints, send them to @ProducerNick on Twitter or producernick@beesicehockey.com.
Anyway, the puck is dropped and we are away in the second, and it'll be played back into the Lightning zone where Wallace will begin the breakout.
Over to Venus, unless you want to carry on.
Well, Venus caught a little bit unawares there. I don't think he was expecting the pass.
No, I was
getting
told information by who's up here. Lightning still on the power play. Wallace, I say still on the power play. They basically have a full 2 minutes to start this period. Lawrence fired across. Susters, who once again, he's had 1 good finish, but he's missed guesstimated a dozen shots like that so far.
Yeah, but I mean, the 1 finish he's had.
Yes, was a very good one. Not saying anything about it.
Yeah.
So a full 2-minute power play because the penalty was called at 0.7 left on the first. As the Bees able to clear it. Curlin out of his net to play it. Leaves it for Wallace. Up the right-hand side. Susters fired on net. Wright will try and beat Gulliver to the puck. And clears everyone's sticks and out the zone. Venus. Back to Wallace. There's all 3 Bees pinched to one side. Susters will ring it around the boards. Venus down low at the goal line.
I'm just trying to think,
Finds Lawrence. That one's saved by Wright and the Bees clear.
I'm just trying to think, did we see much of Tim Wallace in the first period?
Yes, he's on the second unit with Rutgers and Gulliver at the moment. He's spending a lot of time on the power play. As Curlin leaves that one for Solder. Solder. Round the boards. Finds Brown. 30 seconds left on the Ross Bottom minor. Back to Solder. Finds Cowan. No shooting lane opening up here for the Lightning. Brown. Bees much better on this panicle of sticking to their shape. Down low again through the wickets. Back to Brown. That attempted pass picked off by Antonov. Bees the other way. Antonov fires the shot, misses the puck. Stewart able to find Rutgers. Bees return to full strength.
the whole problem for the Bees offense so far in this game. They get those opportunities, but they're not really getting them with enough quality on them.
Solder snaps a shot on goal and held by Wright. Face off to left over right. Play a bit of 5-on-5 hockey. Back to Martelli. Kept in at the blue line. Hamill. Spadafor fires from outside hash marks. Saved by Wright. Marks round the boards to Wilson. Flips it high off the glass. Martelli gets there first. Takes a hit from Rossbottom. Rose spins away from the field. Drops off to Rossbottom. Penned in the corner by Martelli. Lightning able to turn the puck over. Spadafor plays himself into trouble. Hit from Rose. No penalty call on that one. Puck loose. Field brings it away. Bounces it off Wilson. Just gets in at the blue line. Field takes it the other way. Lightning break. Hamill can't get it under control. Morris is there. We'll just fire it high off the glass. Spadafor keeps it in the zone. Down low, Hamill. Finds Lawrence. That pass away from the stick of Martelli. Balaz and Spadafor coming together there.
Several times now we've seen these players try to lay the hit on Spadafor, and it hasn't worked as Lawrence now gets it across ice.
Sisters with a shot, saved by Wright. Venus gloves that one down, tries to find Lawrence backdoor chance. Bouncing puck as Wright covers up. No, he doesn't. There's bees lying everywhere. Hemmings-Mayer finally gets the final touch to clear the zone. Yes, the Bees enthusiasm outweighing their judgment at the moment. They want to throw hits, but they're going into mismatches and coming off way worse.
Yes, it's very much the immovable force meeting the immovable object.
The force is very much movable at the moment. Mag's attempted clearance instead, takes a stick high there from Sisters. Sisters then blocks the shot from Mogg. Cathcart is there. Venus. Met by Cathcart. Sisters sends it back to Venus. Salisbury fires down low. Sisters again, no look pass, tries to find Lawrence. He can't quite read it, and the Bees break the other way. Into the zone now with Gabai. Gabai, brilliant poke check from Salisbury. Lawrence there to clean up the trash. Venus kicks that one between the legs of Kelly, and Wright will hold on this time. 15:23 to go in the second.
I think that was one drop pass too many there for Don Gabai. He really probably should have taken the shot there on this opportunity. So that's the poke check on the break there.
Face off to the right of Max Wright. Won by the Lightning. Bees clear the zone. Solder. Pick the puck up. Takes a lap for his troubles. Chipped on ahead by Wallace. Bees there first. Rossbottom. Bees looking to set something up.
The Bees are playing two men high at the blue line, waiting for it, but they're really struggling at the moment to just find a way to even get the puck to those two players.
Rutgers jumps in the way of that one. Gulliver spins past back to Wallace. Back to Griffin, who fires that one from the blue line as the shooting lane opened up. Wright saw it the whole way and holds on.
Lightning basically on an almost extended power play here at the moment. They're just parked up inside that B zone. They just have to wait for the breakout attempt to try and, well, to force the turnover and then just return it.
In B's two-way news, Kane Russell has just scored the game winner for the Solar Devils against the Chelmsford Chieftains with 30 seconds to go to win the game 5-4. Scored more goals in the last 2 weeks than the Bees have at home all season.
And the Stratton fan in me is very excited by that news.
That shot is held by Wright again. 14:20 to go in the second. And as Chris says, the Lightning, I mean, we haven't seen the puck barely down here at this end. face-off won by the Bees. Held in the corner. Eventually brought out of the way as one of the Lightning players gets absolutely bulldozed by Ty Cathcart. Antonov spins and fires that one over to Hemmings-Mayer. He's met by Martelli and moved off the puck. Back to Spadafor.
I think these are going to have to work out a way to rely on Vanya's speed for counter-attacks. I think that's a tripping call.
That should have been a tripping call there on Alan Wilson. How is that the one that doesn't get called so far this evening? I don't know. Hamill down low.
Well, how does Aaron Nell not get called for high-sticking his own player?
Now. Played into the corner. Mitchell gets there ahead of Hamill. Hemmings-Mayer chips it past Martelli. Very tired legs on this shift now as Antonov gets the stick taken out of his hands. And that one is called.
But I think Hemmings-Mayer with a bit of a follow-up there, and it's now going to draw a crowd. County's in there as well.
Yeah, Hemmings-Mayer throwing the hit on Spadafor. So penalties coming here. 26:36 is the time of a penalty for definite, possibly more.
This is the problem here. That little bit of afters from Hemmings-Mayer could turn a power play here into a coincidental 5-on-5.
I think it's going to stay as a power play. 2 for slashing is the call on Jordan Spadafor as he heads to the box. And the Bees will get their first man advantage of the night. They are 2 for 14 on the season, 14.29%. Yes, 2 of the 7 goals have been on the power play. And at the other end, the Lightning on the penalty kill have given up 2 goals so far on 15 attempts, 86.67. There is the tripping call that really should have been called there.
This is a big opportunity here. Understatement of the century there, but it's a big opportunity for the Bees to try and shift some of that momentum their way, try and build some confidence here.
Well, the scoreboard operator is so used to putting penalties on the Bees, they've actually put the penalty on the wrong side, is what's gone on here. The Lightning will obviously feel aggrieved, and rightly so, that essentially what should have been another power play for them has become a penalty kill within the space of 10 seconds. We know how you feel. So face off to the right of Curlin. Finally get the penalty on the right side. Bees get control of the puck. Back to Mogg. Can they fashion a chance? Back to Mogg, across to Goodbye, winds up, fires, that one's wide. Collected by Solder, fired off the boards, bounces over the stick and Grinnell Park is away. Max Wright has to come out of his net to play it. Fires that one over to Goodbye.
We all have flashbacks to a few weeks ago.
Yes. Antonov, stick handers away past Griffin. Back to Goodbye. Mogg pinching in down low. Stuart Mogg off the glove of Curlin, loose puck. Antonov tries to shovel it in. Curlin gets it under control and holds on.
And that was very good there by Mogg. On the angle, Antonov's in front, looking to try and just shovel in a little bit of a loose puck if it does come loose.
Takes off to the right of Curlin. Bees get the puck once again. Down low to Morris. Goodbye. Mogg. Puck back to Goodbye. Grinnell Park tries to close the angle down, and the pass from Goodbye is outside the zone.
I don't think Goodbye was expecting the pass to come to him there, but I think that there was just the Lightning players were in too good of a shape on the PK.
Goodbye, little stop and go. Receives a return pass. That one again not to his stick, off his skate. Goodbye tries to drop it off for Morris and does. Morris then leaves it for the coach. Back to Mogg at the blue line. Back to Goodbye. Good puck movement, but not a lot of body movement. Antonov, backdoor chance, Goodbye. Good kick away there by Griffin.
They're doing well at maintaining the possession right now, but they do need to start looking for opportunities.
And there is the opportunity, right on cue. The shot from Dom Goodbye falls to Liam Morris, who smacks it home, and the Bees are on the mark. 28 minutes exactly, Liam Morris's first goal of the season.
They did an absolutely brilliant job there, moving the puck around. Finally find that little bit of an opening. Goodbye shoots it, rebounds off Curlin, and Morris is there on the doorstep.
Punishes Will Curlin there for not covering up. Liam Morris gets the Bees on the board, 8 minutes into the second period.
Well, we were saying about 8 minutes ago, he didn't really have much to do, and he's had a lot to do there.
There's a chance that falls nicely. Will Stead. That one's gloved by Curlin. I don't think that was any danger. Curlin not making Stead even. Sorry, not making clean contact on that shot. So it'll be Morris from goodbye. Lawrence wins the draw. Up high, Venus tries to find Lawrence. That one will be ice and will come the length of the way back.
That's one of those moments now in the game that could maybe shift the momentum a little bit. If the Bees can get a second one quickly here, changes the whole dynamic of things, everything that's happening right now.
Morris from Goodbye and Balaz, the Bees' first goal of the evening. Face off to Curlin's right. One by the Bees. Back to Mog at the blue line. Shot kicked aside by Curlin. Scramble in front. Balaz able to poke it away from Venus. Mog through traffic, fired wide. Susters helps it on its way. Ross Venus, actually I was going to say over to Ross Venus, but it's a brilliant interception by the linesman who stops that breakout for the Lightning. Nags. That is a brilliant pass to find Ross Venus. Steps inside. Brilliant miss on the hit. Back to Venus. Backdoor chance. Brilliant goal by the Lightning. Credit where it's due. That's a lovely move, and Dylan Lawrence finishes it off. 28-48 is second of the evening.
And there's a little bit of afters with it as well. But absolutely, that was a highlight reel move here. We just see it here. We're going to see the finish of it here. Cuts it across and slides it. Wright has it covered, but he just finds that gap between the post and the blocker arm.
And that all starts from the amazing breakout pass from Ed Nangs at the back end. 28-48, Dylan Lawrence scores. Wait and see the assist as the Bees win the draw, and as quick as the Bees have brought themselves back in the game, it's back to a 3-goal deficit again. Stead tries to play it ahead to Goodbye, stopped by Martelli.
Again, there another one of these missed hits that it was a missed hit that realistically led to Venus being opened up to deliver that pass. Bees need to maybe dial back the aggression a little bit.
We'll try and bring you the assist when we can. It's Lawrence from Susters and Venus for the Lightning 4th goal. And a 3rd assist for Ed Nangs as it should be, as Martelli takes it over the blue line this time. Fired off the blocker of Wright. Rutkiss gloves it down.
I think the Lightning have now found the key to the way to make their speed pay on this very tight rink. They were struggling with it in the first period, but they seem to have found a way to use these quick skating plays. Speed was the key on that goal.
Wallace fans on the shot as he tries to fire through a sea of bodies. It's quickly dispossessed Ross Bottom. I'll be back checking on Martelli. Up the right-hand wall, Wallace. That shot blocked, bounces all the way back to Curlin, who comes out of his net to play. Fired over to Wallace really well. That's going to beat out any icing call there. That attempted breakout blocked by Max Stewart. Second go at it for the Bees does work this time. Over the line with Balance. Tries to go through Rose, he's not expecting the pass. Spatafor, blocked by Wilson. Pulls nicely back to Spatafor, who hands it over to Stewart. Stewart jumps on the loose pass, tries to find Hamill, can't. Big hit, James Griffin! And the Bees player is down, but there's nothing wrong with that.
Bees bench is up in arms at it.
The Bees the other way, and the player is down and the whistle is blown. I mean...
It was a very explosive hit.
The Bees bench seem aggrieved by that, but from where we're stood, that looked clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
Here it is. Oh. James Griffin. Did anyone get the number of that train?
Well, the good news is...
They're up and skating back to the bench.
There is a referee's conference here, and the chants for off have begun in the arena.
Callum Wilson has come off the ice. He is currently stood behind the bench.
Hopefully.
Are we going to get lucky this time and maybe a linesman saw something that didn't happen?
Now.
I think we're just going to go to neutralise. Personally, I think it should still be in the offensive zone, but it's not. It's going to be a neutralised face-off. 9:05 to go. The Bees fans not happy with there not being a call. Obviously, they don't have
the benefit of replay.
The benefit of replay that we do.
But Hallam is being checked on.
Yeah, Hallam is currently being checked on by the Lightning physio behind the bench. We'll keep you posted to anything that happens there. I think it's more the landing than anything that's.
I mean, anything like that, it's going to knock the wind out of you, and as has been shown, it.
And here's the problem. Here's what you're going to get now. Obviously, with the Bees players seeing Wilson skate off and get hurt from that, there's going to be a response.
Yes, there's going to be a response. You kind of have to make a statement back from it. The Bees have been trying to deliver that kind of hit all evening, and Griffin has gone out there and delivered
the boom.
The boom.
Bees win the draw. Back around to Antonov.
I mean, we've seen with obviously with concussion syndromes and everything like that, the transference of energy, the hit can be anywhere on the body. It can still go to the brain.
Stead with the shot, kicked aside by Curl. Instead of Salisbury exchanging words. That's something we saw in pre-season already. Goodbye. Skates in. 2 men bearing down on him. Salisbury stands him up. Hamill able to get away from Stead, but Goodbye will be first to the loose puck. Big hit from Salisbury, and that will draw a reaction from Will Stead. And for the second time in 4 weeks, it's Will Stead and Archie Salisbury. Here we go again, 31-38. And the Bees come off worse again. Goodbye is still down as well.
Goodbye looks to be in some heavy degree of discomfort.
So 31-38, Will Stead and Archie Salisbury are both going to sit 5 for fighting. And Goodbye is still down. Dom is up and skating back to the bench. So Stead will get 5 for fighting, Salisbury will get 5 for fighting. That we can be assured of. Obviously not forgetting, as we found out in pre-season, the new rule of any fights inside the final 5 minutes of the game carry an automatic ban. Something we learnt in pre-season. The Bees fans, once again, not happy with that, but it's a high hit from Salisbury. I think it's more just the landing after it that's done the damage there. More conversations. All I'm saying is I'm glad I don't have a train home to catch this week. So, conversations had with the box. I imagine it should just be 5 and 5. At least that's what I'm expecting it to be anyway. Well, maybe this is just a case of, look, can we all just calm down, please? We'd like to go home.
I think either Hallam Wilson as well.
Hallam Wilson
has gone to the locker room, or he's gone back to the bench. I can't see him where he was.
He's moved from where he was, but I didn't see him go to the locker room. But obviously, we'll keep an eye out to see if he's on the bench. Archie Salisbury has a 2-minute minor on the clock as well here, so the Bees are going back on the man advantage.
I would wager that extra 2 minutes is probably for
the hit on Goodbye. Of course, we will have to wait what feels like an eternity for it to come up on the board. So we've got producer Annika up here frantically refreshing the NIHL national page to see if they've updated it on there before we get it told to us in the rink. Meanwhile, let's have a look around the leagues, shall we? It's Swindon Wildcats 3, the Leeds Knights 1. That's in the second period. The Solway Sharks 0, Telford Tigers at the end of the first. Sheffield Steel Dogs 2, Peterborough Phantoms 2 in the first. And at the end of the first, Bristol Pitbulls 2, Romford Raiders 3. What else can we do to kill some time before we get back to hockey? End of the first, MK Thunder 0, Streatham Redhawks 4.
Yeah.
Shock.
Here
we go.
Shocking.
Archie Salisbury 2 for cross-checking and 5 for fighting. Wilstead 5 for fighting, I'm guessing. Bees on the man advantage. Goodbye.
It's good to see
Up on the ice.
Good to see Don Goodbye back out there.
Spins away from Griffin. Nobody wants a part of that anymore. Back to Goodbye. Back down low. Force for Morris. His has a shot. Brilliant save, Curlin. He closes his legs to prevent the 5-hole goal.
Bees trying to recreate the magic that led to their first goal there.
Now keeping one eye out to see if we can see Hallam Wilson on the bench. See if the already short Bees bench has gotten even shorter. There's no one down here below us, so unless he's in the changing room, he's on the bench. We'll find out and we'll keep an eye out. Mog back to Goodbye. Tries to close the angle and tip in front from Antonov, not towards goal, but into the corner. Balaz gets there first. Antonov, good work to get it back to Balaz. Mog at the blue line. Goodbye. That attempted pass blocked by Lawrence. Foot race to the puck. Mog just beats Lawrence to it. He'll set Goodbye away as they try and catch the Lightning on that change. Goodbye. Round the goal he goes. Away from Wallace, back to the blue line and Mog. Down low Antonov. Goodbye. Looking for an option. Finds Antonov again. Back to Mog as the high man. Down low to Goodbye. And loses the handle on that and then gets Griffin through the chest this time. James Griffin laying some big body checks as that shot comes in from Mog on the blue line, and that's held by Curlin. He'll hold on. 36 seconds left on the man advantage. James Griffin making sure that no one goes near him the rest of this game.
And I see Hallam Wilson back on the ice.
Yep, Hallam Wilson is back with us. 6:57 remaining in the second.
And 36 seconds left on the penalty kill.
As the Lightning win the draw. And that one not kept in by Morris at the blue line, right out of his net to play it. Leaves it for Morris. He will skate at speed at the left-hand side. Skates straight at Spadafor and gets round and tries to fire it back to Rose. Can't get it stick on the end of it. Hemmings-Mayer back to the blue line. Wilson. Back to Rose. Hemmings-Mayer. Can't find Morris, and that one out of the zone, and the Lightning kill that penalty. Salisbury doesn't return to the game. I almost said something stupid there, but I caught it just in time. Martelli up the left-hand wall to Wallace, who tips it on ahead and goes for a change.
Still has another 3 minutes to sit.
5, technically.
5.
Spadafor tries to go down low, kicked down by Morris. Finds Hemmings-Mayer, able to get it under control. Chipped ahead. Probably the first missed hit of the evening by the Lightning there. And Spadafor finds Rutgers. Rossbottom tries to shove him off the puck. Finds Cowney, and offside as Ben Brown jumps the gun on this left-hand side. 5:44 remaining.
That's also rather sarcastic cheer as well from the home fans.
Neutral zone face-off, won by the Bees. And that is icing. Not a lot to be said about that one. Bad pass from Kelly, misses Balaz.
I think we're at that stage now where the Lightning are pretty much going to try and park the bus for the rest of this game, and it's going to lead to a lot of that for the Bees now, because their only real option is going to be to dump it across the blue line from the centre and try and beat them in.
Lightning win the draw. Brown playing D for the moment while Salisbury's in the box. Suster's shot is blocked by Balaz. Shot down low, held by Wright. Is the tip from, I believe, Lawrence in front. Is held on.
Venus is chat. that kind of a game now where after all that's happened, every time you see two opposing players talking to each other, you're wondering whether it's going to kick off.
Venus fired through the crease. Antonov able to help it on its way. Nags keeps it just inside the blue line. Back to Lawrence. Sisters tries to help it on its way. Can't get past 2Bs. Shipped ahead. That's a high stick. Ben Brown, I think, knew that he'd misplayed that one. I think that shouldn't be any more than 2. There's no blood there. It's just 2 minutes. It should be anyway.
But once again, Dom Gabai the target.
35-0-1, time of the penalty. The thoughts of the TSI World Berkshire Bees fans are not representative of the 2 commentators, so please don't hate us. They're chanting dirty, dirty lightning. That just seemed accidental. 35-0-1, 2 5 sticks is my guess. It's still not on the clock.
There are no accidents, only coincidences.
So Bees back on the man advantage. Ben Brown sitting 2 minutes.
Bees will need to do a lot more with this power play than they did with the previous one. They started out the previous one quite well, but they just seemed to drop off as that power play went on.
Goodbye. Attempted pass blocked by Griffin. Puck finds its way back to Goodbye. Down low to Antonov, tries to shovel one in short side. Rebound as Morris gets wiped out. That one probably should have been a penalty there. Mog back to Goodbye. Antonov. Down low again, back to Goodbye. Going to try and fire his way through everyone. Antonov with a chance. Saved by Curlin at the first time. Ruskin, it's in! And the goal's been washed out! What on earth is going on? Antonov thought he'd scored it. The puck was in the side of the net. And it's been washed off.
I can't wait to see the replay on this one.
Nick.
It's your time to shine, Nick.
Oh, not again.
So
see, Antonov stops because he thinks it's
pinned.
It's pinned. Antonov pokes it, and then the whistle goes.
Right, if the referee's lost sight of it, he needs to blow before that happens. I can only assume that's going to be his justifications because he had lost sight of it before Vanya struck it. But we play till the whistle. We play till the whistle. That should be a goal, in my opinion. Has nothing to do with the fact that I'm a huge Vanya Antonov fan. I want to see a Vanya Antonov fan.
Yeah. Lightning win the draw. Morris. Here we go again. Mog. 1:16 left on the man advantage. Shot blocked by Spadafor. Bouncing puck. Lawrence finds Grinnell Park, but he can't beat Mog. Antonov. Bees have to clear their heads and go again. Mog over to Goodbye. 58 seconds, I should say. Misread the clock on the board. Goodbye down low to Antonov. Martelli for company. Back high to Mog. And we've now got penalties on the Bees being called.
High stick. I think it's against Morris.
Liam Morris has been called for a high stick in front of the net. 36-12. And we're going to 4-on-4. And the Bees players are just shaking their heads in disbelief at this point.
Oh, actually.
That one is, yeah. The Bees are saying it's a disbelief. We've got the benefit of replay, and Liam Morris, go sit down.
I'm going to say this now. I think Morris is lucky he didn't get called for spearing there, to be honest.
Yeah, that one should be a lot more. So, 4-on-4 for 49 seconds. 3:48 to go in the second. The Bees fans will tell you what they think of it, and me and Chris are going to be stood up here and we're going to say, good call, refs. Bees win the draw.
I can't bring myself to say it.
No, but I can.
Like swallowing fire.
Bees, Lightning with it. Venus circles around, finds a bit of space, shot on goal, save right. Venus.
Although I will say hashtag no game without them.
The Lightning look to kill the rest of this power play, or 4-on-4 moment down, and it'll be 1:11 of a man advance for the Lightning as that one is launched out of play. 20 seconds left for 4-on-4. It gives me just about enough time to say, hope you're enjoying this at home, all the people that are watching this, especially the 3 Bees fans I know who are watching it. Pam, Tom and Andy, I know you're all watching it at home. Enjoying us lose our minds.
Losing. I lost mine before I got here.
Lightning in the draw. Venus. Coming together between Venus and Sisters there. Breaks that play up. Bees able to clear. Goodbye at the blue line. Evades that hit from Griffin again. Said nobody wants a part of that anymore. Gulliver leaves it for Griffin as the Lightning return to full strength, and Griffin has done goodbye, bounce off him this time. Griffin finds Sisters. Back to Venus. Wallace. Venus again. Gulliver to the front of the net, spinorama chance, and that one's kicked aside. Kept in at the blue line by Wallace. 35 seconds after the man advantage. Back to Sisters. Wallace again. He can keep going Martin Sisters until he scores one of these. There's his chance. That one's saved by Wright. Bees can't clear. Now they do it the second time of asking, and Curlin out of his net to play it. He leaves it for Wallace. 15 seconds left on the Morris Minor. First one of those of the year that I could say it. County over the blue line. Looks for an option. Drops it off for Dylan Lawrence. Back to Martelli at the blue line. Bees back to full strength. Good job killing off that minute and 10. Mitchell breaks the play up. Lawrence. Back to County. Shot tipped on goal, tipped over the goal, I should say, by Gulliver. County tries to spin it through the body of Stuart Mogg. Chance backdoor loose in front. Gulliver loses an edge. Bees can't clear as that breakout is broken up by County. Stuart chance blocked in front by Mogg.
Bees have collapsed in all the way almost to their own crease area at the moment. Is Rossbottom now tries to force his way through but can't.
Another good break-up play by the linesman. Antonov gets past Martelli but can't get on the end of his dump in. Final minute of the second period. Curlin plays it out to Hamill. Up the right-hand side, 4-on-2. Tries to find County. Good work by Josh Kelly to not let County get a chance on that one. Chance from Spanfor at the blue line is held by Wright. 45 seconds to go in the second.
Lightning enjoying that momentum push that they've received since killing off those 2 penalties in quick succession here. Bees have got on the board. They've proven that they can do it. Right now they are really struggling to find a breakout.
Well, here comes one chance. Stead can't get past Spadafor. Pinned to the boards to prevent the entry. Martelli there to collect it. Spins away from Hemmings-Mayer. Grinnell Park chips off the boards. Finds Hamill. Rose is going to be called for another penalty. And he is hacked from behind by Rio Grinnell Park there. 39:37 is the time of the penalty. Dan Rose is going to sit 2 minutes for hooking is the call there.
Is anything going to be assessed to Rio Grinnell Park? No.
No. The Dan Rose one is clear as day.
Yep.
But then that from Rio Grinnell Park just at the end there is after the whistle's gone. So Lightning back on the man advantage. More chat going on. Why is this always happening just at the end of the period?
It's all that tension has built throughout the past 20 minutes of play, well, 40 minutes. And I think Bees just really desperately want to get to the locker room, try and regroup, try and think up some options.
And Stuart Mogg has just been given a unsportsmanlike penalty. Now, he will also head to the box. I believe that's a 10.
And
it's 5-on-4, and Moggy in the box for 10 from misconduct. Same time of the penalty. Oh no, it is another 2. It's 5-on-3. Hang on a minute. So the penalty board has 5-on-3 up, but there's 4 Bs on the ice. So
that potentially be something to do.
Yeah, no, it is 5 on 3. It is 2 minutes. It's 2 minutes. So that's it's 5 on 3 for 2 minutes or less as the Bees able to clear. So thankfully it'll be a bit less than that for now. It's been announced as Liam Morris. It was definitely Stuart Mogg I saw go to the box.
Yep.
Lightning with one last chance. Wallace up the boards, finds Sisters 4 seconds. Buzzer beater opportunity. Lawrence gets bundled down from behind. That is probably should have been a penalty as well. I mean, tonight is not the most fun night we're going to have here this year.
Well, the Lightning physio's out as well to
10 to Dylan Lawrence.
He looked like he went down very, very well.
He was bundled down. He was not expecting to be low bridged like that.
I don't think anybody expects to be low bridged like that when they're in on net like that.
So it's the end of the second period. Lawrence turns into it, I think, as well. Yeah. It's one of those things of the defenseman has made the decision on the play, and it's just both things have happened at the same time. Lawrence.
The rink has gone very quiet.
Yes.
Though, I will point out.
It's the end of the second period here in Slough. The Bees get the 1 goal back thanks to Liam Morris on the power play. It was immediately washed out by a beautiful team goal by Lightning, finished off by Dylan Lawrence to re-establish the 3-goal lead. Lawrence is still down on the ice for now, but we will be going to the period break, and we will come back at the start of the third with any updates there. We will bring it to you then. At the end of the second period, it is the Berkshire Bees 1, the MK Lightning 4. Welcome back to the third and possibly final period here at the hangar, where the score is the Berkshire Bees 1, the Milton Keynes Lightning 4. Shots on goal in that second period were 14 on Max Wright, 13 on Will Curlin. 1 goal each, Liam Morris and Dylan Lawrence. And obviously the other news that we should add to it, because obviously Nick hasn't had time to do it, because it hasn't been announced yet officially, penalty timed at 40 minutes. Liam Morris, 2 minutes for clipping on that final play on Dylan Lawrence. So it's 5 on 3 for a minute and 37. And then the Morris penalty will go up on the clock as 2 minutes. So it's 5 on 3 for a minute and 37. Both Rose and Mogg will come back out. And it'll still be 5 on 4 for 2 minutes unless the Lightning score in the first minute and 37 of the third period. So it's all to say the atmosphere between both changing rooms is tetchy is an understatement, but I don't think that's frustration so much between the teams.
No, I think it's frustration directed more at the officials, and I don't want to jump on that bandwagon of ref bashing because, as I say, without the officials, we have no game. But the good news is, Dylan Lawrence did get back up.
Yep.
Did get back up. Obviously, everyone had gone quiet here in the rink, very concerned for that he may have hit his head. I think because if you look at when you see on the replay, his head kind of does whip around a bit, and I think that's the point of contact from the ice. Yeah. But that Morris clipping penalty, I don't see it. That whole incident kind of happens because, and we're going to see it here on the replay, I think.
If you watch it, Morris goes for the block, and Lawrence just turns at the wrong time. Morris has no intention of taking Lawrence out there. The Lightning take to the ice behind us, and we should say, obviously, refereeing moments aside, they have been phenomenal this evening.
They have been clinical. They have applied the finish. They finished their chances when they've had them. They've found a way to adapt to playing in this rink. That was the question we had tonight. Can they adapt? Can they adapt? They've adapted a speed game that realistically that should only really work for them on a larger ice pad like they have up in MK. To this arena, they struggled to adapt it at first, but they have found a way now to make it work for them in here.
I should say, obviously, the Lightning return to the ice, and everyone's okay with it. The officials turn to the ice to a chorus of boos from both fans. Says all you want for the evening. I should say, for the Bees, as an update, Josh Smith is in his street clothes now. That's another man down for the Bees. On a night where they're already under power. They go to Telford tomorrow. The Lightning at home to, I believe, the Solway Sharks. He says, frantically tapping on Annika's tablet. Yep, Solway Sharks and the Lightning.
already got a Griffin in discussion with the referees.
I should say this, I got a couple of comments from Bees fans asking about the Griffin hit on Wilson, and I will maintain on this one, I've told them this as well, it is a thing of beauty. Absolutely loved it.
I think it's a thing in the modern game, which is like where it's so fast now, it moves so quickly that kind of hit, it just looks like something that needs to be punished and draw. You know, you see it a lot. You know, hit a hit like that. It's actually fairly legal. Draws the reaction of a pair of gloves flying in a helmet going somewhere, and somebody offering a fight out.
So the Lightning 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 37.
Vanya Antonov has missed curfew and is running to the back of the Bees bench.
It's 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 30 or less. The Bees win the draw. Kelly will launch it up ice. Curling out of his net to play it. Venus. Sisters. Bursting into the zone. Backdoor chance. Sniped home Ross Venus. And the Lightning get their 5th early in the 3rd. 40-22. And Ross Venus scores his 3rd of the season.
And that, good attempt by Josh Kelly to try and close it off, but the speed is just going to get them every single time. And here we see it. Venus is just cuts to the middle, and Venus just has to apply the finish in the middle.
So Mogg comes out of the box. The Lightning remain 5-on-3 for the next 1 minute and 15 seconds. Bees struggling to count to 3.
I think, yeah.
So 1 penalty off the board. The Morris penalty now goes on the board. 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 15. 5-1 Lightning. There's another brilliant finish there for the Lightning tonight. Ross Venus adding to his tally. The 5-man power play unit stays on. Sisters with another fan shot for the evening. I've genuinely lost count. Lightning will try again. Back up to the blue line.
Well, given this, I don't think I've seen the Lightning score an ugly goal this season.
Nope, definitely not this evening.
No.
Sisters. Down low, Gulliver. Sisters again closing the angle down. Shot into the Gulliver right. He holds on at the second time of asking. Gives me just about enough chance to say hello to the Wilsons watching at home. Your dad, Joe, obviously loves me to bits and told me to give you a shout out in the 3rd period.
Hello.
Face off to left of right, won by the Lightning. Venus from Wallace and Sisters, the Lightning 5th goal. Here they go looking for goal number 6 of the 2nd unit, Stewart. So they close all the angles down. Brown. 25 seconds left on the Rose penalty as Brown loses the handle for a second. Antonov goes to close him down. Down low, Hamill in between the hash marks, finds Cowney. Cowney spins high, shot through traffic, blocked in front. Stead will launch it the length of the ice. Curlin leaves it. Brown goes back to collect, and the Bees return to 4 skaters. 45 seconds left of the man advantage. Lightning in once again. Brilliant pass again. Big save right off Max Stewart. Goodbye. Can't clear it off the, I was going to say diving Stewart, but it ends up being falling Stewart as he blocks the pass. Puck bounces back in front. Falls to Stewart again. Lightning go for the reset as Hamill's bundled down by Kelly. Shot through traffic into the glove of right. He'll hold on. 23 seconds left of the power play and 18 minutes to go in the game.
He's maintaining a very good shape there, but Lightning still very dangerous, moving it around, high speed. Almost with another highlight reel goal there for Stewart as well. Just denied so close in front of net by Wright.
Face off to the right of the Bees netminder. Back up to the blue line. Sisters. Wallace. Looking for an option. 10 seconds to go before the Bees back to full strength. Leaves it. Venus loses the handle on it for a second. That lets Kelly break it up. The Bees return to full strength. Sisters. Venus. Bees back to 5 skaters. For how long for? Will remain a secret. And that one, well, Chris said he hasn't seen an ugly goal all night. There's one. That deflection Wright doesn't see it at all. It goes screaming into the back of the net, and it's 6-1 Lightning, 42-34.
The interesting
Wait and see who got the goal on that one.
I mean, the interesting thing you'll see on this, on the replay, Wright has his glove up. He thinks it's going high. He thinks it's going high into the net, and you see that.
It's a tip in from Tom's Rutkiss in front of the net. That's what we'll say there.
Yeah, it's the art of misdirection.
Redirection even. Rutkiss with the second of the season, and the Lightning the 6th of the evening. Another good finish there to take it away from Wright.
A misdirect with a redirect.
And Bees will clear it up ice. Martelli is there. Howell. Stead. Tries to band his way between the hash marks. Chance down low, covered up by Curlin at the second time of asking. Speed's trying to shuffle it in on the backhand. And if it wasn't the case of let's just shut the game out for the Lightning, it definitely is now.
It definitely is now, but I mean the question we did ask going into this is how well organised is their defence going to be? It's been very, very well organised.
Rutkiss from Susters and Venus, I believe, is what's gone down as the 6th goal. Stewart off the boards, through everyone, icing waved off. Morris. Will take it through centre ice. Stead pushed off the puck. Lightning clear the zone. Rossbottom finds Stead again. Spatafor. Fires up the left-hand wall. Shot from the face-off dot, saved by Wright this time, with the stick of Brown. Antonov can't get out of the zone. Rose breaks up that pass, 3-on-2 the other way. Rose finds Antonov, Antonov steps in, fires, save Curlin's shoulder. Lightning have a chance the other way. Breaking in on goal, County, that puck bounces towards Wright. Rose is there to take it away from danger. Dumped back in by Salisbury. Rose bundled over by Grinnell Park. Grinnell Park in front. Ballas trying to force the puck out of the zone. And Grinnell Park take a tumble. Mogg first of a loose puck. That's Salisbury for company. Mogg will try and fire one from the blue line, but just manages to shuffle it up ice and allow both teams to change. Fired in by Lightning once more. Morris can't clear it. Just bounces straight off Susters. Stead picks up the loose puck. Sends goodbye. Up the left-hand side. Shot towards goal. Kicked aside by Curlin. Beaster with it. They run into each other behind the net. Lightning can regroup again. Mags long stretch pass, icing waved off again. Morris is there.
Morris has had a very long shift here.
Yeah, and he looks absolutely gassed. Rossbottom takes a hit from Griffin. Wallace. Puck loose. Antonov tries to fire it down low. That shot is blocked again. Lightning break the other way. Once more, drop pass, chance, save Wright, sticks that one back up over his net. Fantastic work by the Canadian. Susters with another chance gone begging. Goodbye, up the left-hand wall. Tries to dip inside, Martelli stands his man up brilliantly again. Lightning once more. Add that one to the errors list tonight. Jordan Cowney loses an edge. Susters spins away from Mogg.
Are we sure that wasn't a trip?
Probably would have been. Venus.
It would have been in the second period.
Cowney down low to Venus again behind the goal. Down low again. Cowney with a chance. Fires that one over the bar. Kept in the blue line by Martelli. Venus. Susters again. That one is behind Spatafor and out the zone. Well, that was Gulliver, sorry, that time. I just saw a 7.
Sorry, I made that mistake earlier on tonight. Got Susters and Gulliver mixed up.
Lightning into the zone. Gulliver takes it away through 3Bs, drops it off for Rutkiss. Back high Martelli, shot blocked. Off the stick of Ballas. He's able to get there ahead of County. Backhand pass over to Antonov, drops it back off for Balaz. Balaz shot deflected up high into the netting by Malik Martelli, who once again has had an absolute blinder. And there's a whoa! Harry Gulliver has just taken out Marcel Balaz behind the play here, and that feels unnecessary. 46-58. There's going to be a penalty. Gulliver is being taken to the box at the moment. What on earth has brought that on? Gulliver is now resisting an official, I should say, as well.
I'm not sure where that came from.
There was nothing.
Obviously, tensions in this game have been rising and rising and rising.
But there was nothing that... I did not think that was coming at any point this evening.
No. Well, for me personally, if I was going to say, as we're going to see here in the so Gulliver just brings the stick down like an executioner's axe.
Lauren Hewlett did that last night in the Storm Devils game. That's all I'm going to say.
And I believe that ended up earned him a 3-game ban.
We're going to wait and see what goes on here. We said Morris should have been chucked earlier, but what is going to come on here? Nothing is on the board yet. We know Gulliver is in the box. It's 46-58. There is a penalty coming. It's 2 minutes.
That's...
I am genuinely stunned at that.
Do we have like the equivalent of a
2 plus 2 apparently is what's been called.
Do we have the equivalent of a bat sign for the DOPS department? The only way I can describe this is he has literally tried to behead the guy, and
I mean, we've had a lot of interesting calls tonight.
I'd be very interested to see if that what it looks like from the rear angle. If we
don't have that. One. It's just off the angle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bees on the power play. This is a bizarre evening, everyone. Sorry. Lightning clearing up ice. And we're able to jump on the end of it. Dropped off for Wallace. We still haven't had a call officially yet. We know Gulliver's in the box. Goodbye, dispossessed Wallace. Here comes the call as Antonov gets in the zone. 2 for interference and 2 for cross-checking.
If that's a cross-check. If that's a cross-check, I have a bridge to sell the referee.
I've got an ice rink in Manchester to sell them.
Yeah.
Grinnell Park takes the puck away, and now this is going to get nasty.
This game is...
And there's another one. Morris is taken down by Grinnell Park as well. The Lightning break the other way. Wallace, both teams are losing heads here now, and this is getting silly. And this is the type of hockey I absolutely hate. As the Lightning break the other way. Chance in on goal, right, doesn't have a chance, make it save. Mogg dispossesses Venus before he can get the shot away with a brilliant poke check. We've got to somehow pick man of the matches for this, by the way. Anybody watching online, send us a tweet. BSMNL, help. Goodbye. Over to Rossbottom. Finds Will Stead. Shot saved by Curlin.
I mean, for me, for Lightning, I feel like Ross Venus is in with a shout for that. The Bees...
Hey, we've still got 11 minutes. If you're watching at home, hashtag BSMNL on Twitter. Send in your picks and help us out.
The Bees at the moment, for me, I'm torn between. I know. I appreciate this is going to sound weird because he's letting 6 goals, but Max Wright has been good, apart from those 6 goals, obviously. But I'd also be looking at giving a shout to Stuart Mogg and probably Dom Goodbye as well. And Liam Morris.
Lightning turn the puck over, clear at the length of the ice. 10 seconds left on the first Gulliver penalty. Reminder, there is still another one to come. Mogg. Over to Rose. Tries to dump it in. He just grabs a hold of Max Stewart, and that's a penalty. That's just silly from Dan Rose there. And he's out there. They've actually called both. Max Stewart's got a penalty for being interfered with.
That's a very interesting decision from the referee.
49.08. Dan Rose and Max Stewart head to the box.
I'm wondering if that's an attempt to try and diffuse what is building here.
I don't think it's going to work.
I don't think it will either.
So Dan Rose in the box for the Bees. Max Stewart in the box for the Lightning. So 150 left on the Gulliver Minor. It stays 5-4. Coincidentals called there on Rose and Stewart. Bees win the draw. Back to Antonov.
It's interesting
Down
to hear
low
what
again.
Stewart call was there.
2 minutes for being interfered with. Shot from Antonov wide of the goal. Back to forced to goodbye. Balaz. Goodbye. Closes the angle down. Tries to find Morris at the front of the net. Goodbye still with it. Antonov's pass broken up. And that's an obvious penalty call, unfortunately, on Carter Hamill. 2 for holding on Rose. I didn't hear what the call was on Max Stewart. Unsportsmanlike conduct called on Max Stewart. And now Carter Hamill heads to the box. 2 minutes for tripping. That one, we can say, good call on. 49-28.
Considering, as we can see here on the replay, considering how far away the ref is on this one, if he didn't call that one.
Honestly, we really like talking about ice hockey, the two of us. We do it all the time. But this is not ice hockey tonight. I've come to a penalty contest, and occasionally ice hockey is broken out.
I don't know, some of our viewers will probably tell us that this is old-time hockey.
Hallam Wilson is also in his street clothes now, so you've got 2 Bees forwards down here. So Bees are now down to 7 forwards, 5 D-men.
I mean, the question I would ask is if Josh Smith is dressed, does that that play by Gulliver happen?
I think there's lots of ifs and buts tonight. 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 10 seconds for the Bees. Goodbye. The Max Stewart penalty is on the board. I'm very confused with what's going on with the penalty board here. It's 5-on-3. I think it says 16 on the board at centre ice. I believe that should be 24 Carter Hamill. I just put the wrong person on there. Otherwise, you should have a Dan Rose penalty as well. Goodbye. Over the blue line. 48 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Bees. Can they break the 1-goal duck that they've had for 3 weeks now? Chance. That's off the underside of the bar and out. Right on cue. That was almost commentator's curse. Goodbye, shot down low. Antonov tries to break it up. Curling with the side-to-side movement, takes the goal off, and obviously no ability to change players there. This will stay 5-on-3 for 32 seconds.
I just find it interesting that the net moves off just at that exact right moment when a netminder sees Berkshire building like that.
Sorry, I'm getting messages from people watching who are. Hi Andy, that's all I'll say. As the Bees win the draw, that one leaves the zone. 5-on-3, once more. 25 seconds remaining. Goodbye at his own blue line. We'll try and draw people out of position. Past the balance, not to take, but Antonov able to knock it down. Balance taken down by Wallace cleanly. Antonov with a chance, and Vanya Antonov! That one is going to count! 50-44, and the Bees get their second, and Vanya Antonov's third of the year.
The hit laid on goodbye, opens up the space, Vanya Antonov collects it, skates across, and does what he does best, roofs it.
Will Curlin is calling for something there. I'm not sure what.
I mean, I cannot see anything, but then, as we've seen all evening, something is called for... No, I can't see anything there.
Unless it's, how did you let Vanya Antonov skate through like that, then fair enough. Curlin has called the ref over. I think his argument is the goal is off. Nick, fire up the replay again. I think they're just going to... Yeah, the goal is off.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
Curlin does kick it off, but Vanya Antonov roofs it home. So the conversation is going to be Curlin saying the goal is off, but the rule is, if the goal is where it should be mostly, and the puck passes through where the goal would have been, they are allowed to give it, and that is what they have done. So Will Curlin might not like it for his goals against average, but good goal.
Yeah.
So Bees still with a man advantage, 38 seconds of it left. Rossbottom. Rear Grinnell Park, swing and a miss. Morris, down low to Rossbottom. Back to Morris, winds up, fires through traffic. Big save, Curlin. Vanya Antonov unassisted for that second goal. There's another chance kicked away by Curlin. And the goal's come off again. And Curlin has also lost his head now, the goal coming off. All I'm saying is it hasn't done that for 50 minutes so far and had to do it 3 times in the last 2.
Interestingly, he did it just as Vanya Antonov was closing to take a shot.
Look, every goalie does it. Everyone, like anyone who has sat through the years of Stevie Lyle in Swindon and Basingstoke, those things came off every 10 seconds. Yep. It's part of the game. I don't mind it. It's a bit of gamesmanship.
Yeah, it's part of the gamesmanship in the UK. I mean, anywhere really, I think, where you have pegs instead of drilled in holders like they have in North America.
Lightning able to bring it clear, and they're going to return to full strength. Can we have 8 minutes of ice hockey, please? Ross Venus, backdoor chance, Jordan Cowney, turns, fires, flurrying puck, bounces over the goal. Mogg is there, finds goodbye. Please, all we want is 8 minutes of actual ice hockey. Goodbye. Spins, fires, that one goes through the paint, no one there in a yellow shirt. Antonov tries to find goodbye, deflection, takes it back to Kelly, he fires through traffic. Curlin does a good job of seeing that late off the tip.
He's top line at the moment, playing with a great deal of confidence here at the moment, off the back of that second goal.
Susters finds Martelli, 7 minutes 40. Long stretch pass from Martelli, sets Cowney away. He's held up by Cathcart. Kelly's clearance only to the blue line, shot blocked off the stick of Hemmings-May, finds Susters down low. Cycled round the boards. Cowney tries to find Venus. He can't quite get there. Rossbottom collects the loose puck.
Cathcart got lucky to get away with a holding through there, I think, because he had his arms around him and tried to guide him in as Hemmings-May gets
offside and flattened. And now there's more pushing coverage. So, well, I wanted 8 minutes. I got 60 seconds. Fantastic. Just a reminder, any fights in the last 5 minutes is an automatic ejection and a game ban. Let's hope the players know that.
And given the, I'm looking at the Bees bench right now, and given the gaps, I don't think anybody should be taking that. I think Dom Gabay will be saying that no matter the provocation, don't do anything.
Nobody does anything. We're already 2 men down. We'll have to see. Yeah, Chris, you know the certain people. Any chance you can let us have prostitutes and Roman Cathcart tomorrow, thanks? We might need some bodies. Rossbottom.
I'll drop Graham, Dawn and Ben a message to see what I can wrangle up.
These from their own end. Mitchell finds Stead. Gulliver back with us as well. Rossbottom takes the puck away from him. Big hit delivered on Max Stewart this time. Mitchell.
Speaking of Streatham, it's now 6-0 to Streatham over the Thunder at Thunderdome.
Here's your Thunder update as well, everyone.
Yep.
For those watching at home and not at the Thunderdome this evening, Mitchell. Give and go with Dan Rose. He leaves it for Balaz. In the Bees' case, there's a lot of tired legs going on now with only 12 skaters. You'd like to think this game is just going to be shut down from both teams for the next 6 minutes. Something's bound to happen. I don't mind if it's going to be a breakout goal here, as Cathcart tries to get it away from Hamill. Bouncing puck taken away by Gabay as he cleans up.
We're going to end up seeing a lot of scrappy play from the Bees with those tired legs. Whereas I think Lightning will probably take their time with it. They've got the length on the bench to do so.
Solder from behind the net. He will bring it up ice himself, try and chip it and get around Morris. Morris just runs a little pick play there, prevent him from getting there. Cathcart can't clear. Solder Down low, Stewart with the attempted tip in at the top of the paint, that goes wide. Good outside edge though. Stewart down low to Solder again, spins away from the check. Puck bounces its way over to Hamill. Back high, shot blocked by Goodbye, and Dom Goodbye has a chance. Obviously the puck going to break into the corner and stop any kind of breakaway. And Callum Field doesn't play the puck, goes to Goodbye and is now complaining that there's a penalty call. Delayed penalty coming here on Callum Field as the arm is up, and Kelly will just give it to Carter Hamill. 55-14, 2 minutes for elbows is the call on Callum Field.
Definitely.
And Dom Goodbye is now talking at the Lightning bench. Well, we made it 2.5 minutes that time.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything Callum Field can really protest here. You can quite clearly see it. You see on there, elbow up.
Yeah, you're not playing the
makes
puck.
The contact. He's not playing the puck there. But smart move as well by Kelly there. Get it on Hamill's stick as quick as he could, because as much as you want to, obviously, you know, normally under normal circumstances with a delayed penalty call, you want to extend the amount of time that you have that extra man out there. But right now the Bees are tired. They need to get the fresh change off.
Mog, fire through traffic. That one goes off the glass behind the goal. And Lightning able to clear. Right, out of his net to play it. Bees at the wrong end of the ice for them as Mog collects. Chipped ahead. Morris collects the loose puck. Has to spin back round. Big hit in the corner. Lightning can't quite clear. Goodbye, pinching down off the blue line. Finds Ross bottom shot through traffic. Curlin able to just push that one aside. Lightning chip it up ice. 1 minute gone on the man advantage. Wright will move it along to Morris. Back to Mog. He's going to leave it for Balaz, or is he?
I think they're just
going for a change.
Going for the change here.
Bees loading up the top line. Goodbye to Antonov. Dispossessed, takes a tumble, nothing there. Kelly. Leaves it for Balaz. Mog. Balaz chips it around Salisbury thanks to the little pick play from Antonov again. Antonov down low. Balaz. Lightning about to return to 5 skaters again. Loose puck, bounces his way back to Antonov. Fire through traffic, tip in front, good save Curlin as the penalty expires and the Lightning return to 5 skaters.
I think if the Bees had a bit more energy in them, might have been an opportunity to get a third, but you said that the legs are looking very worn now.
The tank is empty,
yeah.
I think, at this point.
Yep.
Lightning win the draw. Morris dispossessed. Lightning the other way. Suster's backhanded towards goal. Another lovely finish as Stewart tries to go between the legs. Wright says no. Morris, that would have been ridiculous.
That would have been goal of the night if he had converted it, I think.
I'm somewhat glad he didn't. I'm allowed one bias moment here. Stead dispossessed of the puck. Comes out the scrum, back to Cathcart at the blue line. Fired through traffic, kicked aside by Curlin. Lightning with a chance to break. Good pass, no offside calls, as rightly should be. Sisters cuts aside Cathcart, blocker saved by Wright. Morris first to the rebound. Final 2 minutes of the game. Rose finds Stead. He'll set Antonov on his way up the right-hand side. Turn it over again, clear the zone. Mitchell at centre ice. just plays it into the corner, Kern out of his net to play it. Final 90 seconds here in the hangar.
And MK now are just going to, they're going to take their time, they're going to park that, but I mean, we saw it with that PK, they were parked 2 and 2 in a box through the neutral zone. Wouldn't let Vanya Antonov and Gabai get the speed through.
Mog, long stretch pass finds Gabai. Gabai cuts aside his man. Escorted away from danger. Mitchell back down low. Spatterful first man there. Off the wall, only as far as Mitchell. He finds Antonov. He'll try and hold off his man as he curves towards the net. Bundled down, goal comes off once again. Nothing in that one. Just Spatterful closing the angle down there brilliantly. Here's Max Stewart. Almost.
Missed it by that much.
Yes. DJ Danny Purchard playing the bangers at 5 to 9 on a Saturday night. Face off to the left of Curlin. One by the Bees. Rossbottom fires the shot on goal over the shoulder of Curlin, and the Bees get a third for the Knights. 59-12, and Adam Rossbottom fires home his first of the season, and Chris has a coughing fit.
Sorry. Totally, I think Curlin's caught totally off guard here, straight off the face-off. He's looking at it, but it just finds the gap. Snapper from Rossbottom, and the Bees triple their home scoring record.
From 2 to 5. Bees with the draw with 48 seconds to go. Puck pulls back to right, he'll hold on.
I was so surprised by that goal that my respiratory system went into shock.
Now. Face off left of right. Rossbottom from Rose is the Bees' third goal of the evening, and I must say, as I can look over Annika's shoulder at the goal graphic, I'm still very disappointed Adam Rossbottom didn't bring his trumpet to picture day. You'll see what I mean if you're looking on Twitter in about 30 seconds time. Bees with it as they look to just tick down these final 20 seconds. Kelly sets Hemmings-Mayer away, but Grinnell Park takes him off the puck. Foot race to it. Falls to Salisbury into the final 10 seconds. Hamill chips it on ahead. Chips it into the corner. He'll give chase, but very much a case of just seeing out his final seconds. And the MK Lightning will skate away with a very deserved 2 points here. The final score, the Berkshire Bees 3, the Milton Keynes Lightning 6. And Chris, all of the shenanigans that have gone on tonight aside, the Lightning a very, very good team performance with some very, very good team goals.
Very, very good team performance, very, very good team goals, and they answered that question that we had. Could they adapt to play here? They adapted. You know, the Bees allowed themselves constantly to be just drawn out of their shape and allowed the Lightning to play that speed game. I can see where they were going with some of the hits. They were obviously one of the best ways to kill that speed game is to throw the body around. But every single time it was like they were hitting a brick wall because they seemed to be going against. They always just seemed to be mismatching who was throwing the hit on who.
The Bees, it's not been the best performance, but again, a 6-3 loss to the Lightning. It's not the worst look in the world. Obviously, yes, 2 goals at the end when the Lightning very much took their foot off the gas. But finally, they've actually put some goals on the board, which must be a nice feeling for the Bees.
Absolutely, especially as you said, going into this, they've only been able to score one goal at home in home games. So to get 3 on the board, find some extra goal scorers because obviously Vanya Antonov has already got, that's his 3rd of the season, I believe.
Yeah.
3rd. Rossbottom, that's his first of the season.
Yeah, it's 10 goals on the season and 6 of them have come from Antonov and Balaz.
And Liam,
although it should say it should be 6-4, shouldn't it?
And one obviously as well for Liam Morris, which is, you know, any goal scoring you get is a huge confidence booster because, you know, if you're struggling to find goals the way that the Bees did tonight, it's a confidence boost to be able to look back and go that we have these guys who can put the puck in the net.
Obviously, both these teams have games tomorrow. The Lightning are at home to the Solway Sharks tomorrow. well, evening, I guess. I believe it's a 5:30 face-off at the Thunderdome. Obviously, if you're going, do enjoy yourself. Usually up there in terms of attendance. I'm up there in November, ironically, not for a Bees game. I just happen to be on holiday, and it's a Friday night game. Let's go watch the Lightning. I might as well. Man of the matches this evening. Firstly, for the MK Lightning, as picked by Chris Beale. So any and all complaints, you want Twitter at 24flinching. Yes, that is a moving bus you can be thrown under. Man of the match, the Lightning. You could make a case for about 7-8 players tonight, and it's gone. You've given it to Ross Venus. No Coventry bias there at all, was there, Mr. Beale?
No, there's no Coventry bias whatsoever. Obviously, I will own up. Yeah, I'm a former Blaze fan, and obviously, I'm gonna give a nod to my former captain. But yeah, I mean, he was all over the place tonight, generated goals. But as you said, you've given it to any one of them. Like Malik Martelli was, you know, I'm gonna again pick one of.
Another fantastic. James Griffin, another fantastic performance.
Griffin, absolutely a beast with the physicality. That huge hit that sent a message was a changing moment in the game. Curlin's been good in net this evening. Whenever called upon.
Just a very good team performance for the Lightning for the fan base that deserved it here tonight.
Yeah, it's a very good and it's a very stacked team. I mean, they have so many scoring threats up and down it. We obviously can't as well forget Max Stewart, who had an absolutely beautiful goal. Martin Sustas as well.
And his 58 shots that he missed. One of those nights. Well, Lightning fans, thank you for joining us here this evening on the stream, in the big rink if you're here. Don't forget, you are back here Sunday the 24th of November. So you're welcome to join us. Obviously, 6 o'clock face-off on Sundays, which are the worst. But you are welcome also to join us here, either in the hangar or on the stream for the next visit. Yeah. We have Stuart Mogg, the shirt off his back tonight. The Bees fans, I'm hoping they're not giving the Lightning stick, because there's nothing they really did tonight. The officials leaving the ice. As we wait for the shelves back, and then we'll have man of the match. And spoilers, Stuart Mogg should stay there. So, man of the match this evening, Stuart Mogg, again, a very short bench Bees team in the end, very tired at the end of it. And again, it's a team, it's very much more than the sum of its parts, but tonight, the parts, they just got worn out.
Yeah, like, you can only, you can short shift as much as you want, but eventually, human beings, they're not machines. They eventually run out of fuel. And Moggy was all over the place tonight, all out there. I feel like it was kind of exemplified on that second Lightning penalty power play, that when Moggy wasn't out there, the penalty kill for the Bees looked a lot weaker, wasn't as effective. But the second he came back out after the goal had been converted, defense looked to pop a little bit more again. But yeah, I mean, to pull 3 back, that's an incredible effort from such a short bench team tonight.
I will say this, because I don't know if his other half is here or if she's watching at home tonight. Just know, obviously, Stuart Mogg is the only Bees player to notice the fact that I have my notes and I put them out on social media. And set in a complaint last week because I listed his age on there. And he really doesn't like the fact that his age starts with a 3. He really hates that people know that. So I'm just going to reiterate that on the stream now. I will be keeping that going all year now. Well done. As the Bees go for their lap of honour to the fans that have stayed. Chris, thank you for joining me for the first time this year. The first of many times when you're available.
Yep,
the next time, next Saturday.
Yes. Well, hopefully I won't be as rusty.
No. Back in the swing of things now. Yeah. And back in the swing of things with another team that is at the top of the table, as we're joined by the Leeds Knights for their first visit of the year. Next Saturday night, 6:30 here in the hangar. 5:45 on stream, he says, looking at Nick, who gives him a thumbs up. So we're all good there. So please join us here in the rink if you can. If not, the stream is here. Me and Chris will be here next Saturday. So will producer Nick. And thank you and good night.
6:30 face off on Saturday the 5th of October. Until then, have a safe journey home.